In order to start making your model, you need to first do a save as in Revit. So go to File, Save As, and then Project, and save a new copy of it called House Model. We are going to then, which I've already done, because it will take a minute to save that new copy. What you will then do is scroll down in the new one, make sure that you're in the new tile. You can see it up here. Make sure you're in the new one. And in that new one, come down here and delete all the sheets. Okay, I've already done that, but we want to start fresh. The first thing I'm going to do is I want to get my ground level plan on a piece of paper. So I am going to right click where it says Sheets, go to New Sheet. I want to pick a size blank paper and then hit OK. The reason I wanted blank is I don't want the title block in my way. So I'm then going to come up to ground level plan and I'm going to drop the ground level plan on there. I need to make sure it's at 1/8 inch to a foot. Now, as you're going to notice, first off, let me make sure that my title goes away. As you're going to notice, mine hangs off the page. This, unfortunately, means my job is going to be a little bit more difficult. When I print this out, I'm going to have to print it this page like this. Then I'm going to have to take this and lift it up so that the other end of the house is safely on the page. And I'm going to print out both copies. Once you cut them out, you'll have to pick some sort of marker. I'll probably use like this interior wall to line up both plans to make sure that that is correct and just kind of create myself a full-size sheet. You might luck out and you might be able to, your flip plan might fit on the page individually, but that's great. So I'm going to go ahead and come down here. Not that there's a big deal about naming, but just to be able to know what each one of these are, I'm going to go ahead and rename this. And this one is the floor plan. And again, the numbers really don't matter, but being one of those that likes things to be correct, I'm going to go ahead and call it A1 floor plan. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to go into my elevations and I am going to hide my roof. Actually, this is the easiest way to do it. I'm going to come in and go to Visibility and Graphics. I'm going to find floors and take those off if they're not already. And I'm going to find roofs and I'm going to take that off if they're not already and hit OK. So it'll hide those two things. You may have some furniture sticking out. That's fine. It's not that big of a deal. But I'm going to now do that on all of my elevations. So again, I open it and I tell it under visibility to get rid of the floors and the roof. So that I can see just the walls. Some of these may look a little different because they're extended up to the roof, but that's okay. Now, as you look at your plan, you will notice that your, sorry, I'm doing the wrong thing. You will notice that your straight up elevations are not going to be able to give you 100% of the walls that you need. For example, as you can kind of see in this view, my house has a little bump in, okay? Meaning that there are, floors and roofs. Getting ahead of myself. And actually, it's easiest to see on the floor plan. I have this area here where because it bumps in from my south elevation, I only see a little bit of this wall. And from my north elevation, I see none of this wall. Okay, So I am going to have to make a special drawing for those. I'm not going to make you, well, I am going to make you watch me do it. So first off, I'm going to take the normal elevations. So we're going to go on a new sheet. Again, blank 8.5 by 11. And I'm going to put all of the these in here. Make sure they're, again, everything is 1/8 inch to a foot. No title. And it doesn't matter about some of the top parts of this. So I'm going to put those really, really close to the top, because if it cuts some of those off, that's okay. I see those in other elevations. So I'm going to put north and south on here. And make sure they do not overlap. And I can only get one more on here. So I'm going to put I'm just going to keep going down the list, and I'll put the west elevation at the bottom. There we go. And again, no title. It already called it A2. I'm going to call this one, just to keep things easy, I'm just going to do the size, or the sizes, or the directions that these elevations are, and hit OK. I'm going to go ahead and might as well make my new sheet. Again, a blank. And I'm going to put my east one on here because I didn't have that one on the other sheet. And I'm going to move this. I'm using the arrow keys actually to move it up some, so that I have room for my other views. And make sure to turn my title off. All right, so what I need to do now is I actually need to create some special views. So I'm going to go into my ground level. I am going to reveal the hidden elements, which is a lot. I'm going to unhide the elevation markers, that whole category, and then we'll show those again. Now you can see I've got these various things. So if I go over to view, right here I have elevation, and I can create a new elevation. What I'm going to do is I'm basically going to create like a north 2 and then like a south 2. And that's actually what I'm going to call it, is as I click on this one. First off, I've got this cut line, which is I'm going to drag it down and drag these marks in so that I get just this wall that I'm looking at. I know it's weird for it to be up here. If it makes you feel better, you can actually move it down into here if that makes you feel better about it. But it also moves your line, so you got to do that. Sorry, I'm going to go ahead and move this back up where it goes. Sorry, I'm just going to undo back. There we go. So basically, I'm having it cut it out, and I don't need, that's where this cutting is nice. I don't need much of this interior. I'm going to have it definitely make it wide enough so I get enough of what I need. And I'm going to do the same thing here, where I'm going to put this up by the wall that I actually need it to create, and I'm going to shrink this down so that it does cut a little bit into the house, but not too much. Those are really the elevations that I need. And to identify them, you can click on them and see what you're actually seeing. Okay, so once I do that, I definitely want to hide, because if you remember from before, we hid a lot of this stuff. So I'm going to hide that. I'm going to not show the crop region, and I am going to go ahead and turn off floors and roof on both of my drawings. And because I can kind of see some stuff, I'm going to go ahead and also hide some of these other things that I did before and didn't have to hide on my other views. Same thing with this one. Again, I'm not showing the crop region. I don't want to see floors, don't want to see roofs. And we're going to hide this one. And that gives us everything we need. So I'm going to go now back onto the other elevations view and bring these two other elevations in. Because of the way I set this up, I should be able to bring these in and just basically set them next to each other on this sheet. Now don't be afraid if you have to make multiple sheets. I've made 3 that I'm going to need to print out. I'm actually going to bring this one down a little bit because I don't have to have it so close. But I have 3 that I'm going to print out. So this one's, I'm going to rename East, North 2, South 2. And you might have a bunch of those. Okay, you might need 4 or 5 sheets. Doesn't matter if you have a lot of bump ins, bump outs, you might have to do more than I had to. But this is really what we're looking for. With these, you'll actually print all of these sheets to our regular laser printer, and then the next video will walk you through marking some of them up. Point of caution on the next video. It was done when our project was slightly different, so you will not see some of the extended walls up to roof lines on that video. The process is still the same. Just be aware that you're going to see something slightly different.